Morning.
Thanks for having me as a guest today. Let's do this.
Not a guest. You're the show. You're the show. So I'm just,
This is the Mac room of your dreams.
it is.
I'm just living in it.
Well, you're a part of it. This is the macro of our dreams, and this Be a Better Builder has become like a machine of its own. It's awesome, and it's serving all over the company. I mean, I see Tim
Yeah.
Penso in here. I see Trevor in here. I see TJ in here. There's agencies all over the place, and so it's fun.
My brother Tim's in here.
Yep.
All right, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, last week was so good with Christina. I know you were out of the country chasing waterfalls that time, or maybe riding horses on the beach.
One or the other. But I did listen to it,
It was
and
so good.
listen to it. If you guys missed that last week, I'll get the recording and put it in the chat.
Yeah,
Especially for cold market recruiting, I have never heard a more like applicable, um, put it in place tomorrow, today, step by step.
exactly.
It was incredible. Uh,
Exactly. Yeah, so good. Yeah, I would say last week is probably a precursor to this week. Yeah. Because like you gotta at least be recruiting to, attract good people and attracting good people is what we're going to talk about today.
because you want, I say all the time, I never wanted to be the top contract getter. I don't
Yeah.
want to be like the number one at hiring. I want to acquire and retain people who are profitable and stay with you, right? So it's like when people say, yes, it's working really well, I've got a million interviews. I'm like, but are they sticking? Are they
Yeah.
staying? You know,
Yeah.
this is,
Yeah, it's a healthy balance. Like I've listened back to Marshall's call 3 times now. I don't know about you, but it was so good.
yeah, yeah.
And he talked about the two boxes, and you and I both poured into the two boxes. Like there was no tomorrow. I mean, the production had to happen, or else Kate and I weren't paying the bills. We came from a pretty good salary, working at a dealership. I had a vision that that was not what was for my family forever. And there's nothing stronger than that vision today, but it was really, really strong back then. And when I came in, I looked at this opportunity and I was like, I have to get good at sales because we need to pay the bills. And I want to fuel this business. Like, I want to be able to pay for things that help me get more sales, which was hiring an admin probably way sooner than I should have.
Same.
Way sooner. And some weeks I was just like, I hope that the money actually is there to pay her, similar to your story. But there was literally like maybe $123 left over after I paid her. And I was like, I don't care. Her family's taken care of, you
Yes.
know. And then hiring Toby for issue paid, that was a big problem for us.
Yep, me too.
Issue paid was a big problem for us. Hiring him and what he charges is worth every single penny.
Yep.
But, adding another person so that I could just stay present with the people I was in front of. All this stuff was bogging down my brain, issue paid reports and all the admin tasks and all the tedious things. Kind of like Marshall was saying, he's really bad at paperwork. I'm terrible. I'm not even allowed to touch a spreadsheet.
I mean,
And we
either.
have a lot of them in our business. I'm more of like the person that should be talking to a new agent or should be talking to a new recruit.
Yep.
Everything else is not my strong suit. It really isn't. So, how do I build a business with no business acumen?
Yeah.
You hire
Well,
good people.
for sure. I would say I've got a very small skill set. Luckily, that skill set comes in handy here in this business, but it's definitely not spreadsheets. I just mess them up. Amanda's like, just stay out. When she leaves town, she's like, you messed everything up. I'm like, I'm so
Yeah.
sorry.
Well, Kate's gonna roast me in the comments, you guys. So if anyone's here, my wife will roast me this entire time. You guys, she's probably nursing a baby right now. But I just want to give some credit to her. She is so good at this business, and so many of our agents like just miss what she does behind the scenes. So a lot of what I'm talking about today, I'm just taking credit for the stuff that, we figured out together. It's been her and I since day one. We came in here alone. I came from a dealership and she came from digital marketing with the Buffalo Bills. So when we met, I don't know if anyone knows our story, but we met on TikTok. So the strategies I'm going to give you today could help you find a new agent. They could help you find a spouse. Okay. So it'll be good. But the story happened like this. We met, we started talking about everything that we desired in life because that's what you do when you're 30 and you just meet someone. You don't just take your time. You're like, hey, this is what I want. If it's not you, great. But we started talking about all the things that we wanted, and a lot of that was like time together, being present with a family, being like able to travel and like like send our kids to whatever schools we wanted to and like do ministry work together. We chatted about all this stuff. I was working 70 hours a week at a dealership at that time. So, Michael kind of inspired me this morning, Sarah. He talked about what built him and his resiliency. I really do think wrestling did that for me. If anyone knows about wrestling, you're the only person out there on the mat. It's kind of like tennis, and some of the other solo sports. But, when I used to wrestle, Sarah, I don't know if your kids do this with like scouting out who they're up against, but in sports, I think that plays a big psychological factor on you, and especially in business. If you scout out what your business is up against, you're probably going to crumble to that feeling because there's so much. It's harder than you think. It's going to take longer than you think. Like, all the things. So in wrestling, they would post brackets the morning of a tournament. And I was like, this was my thing. I would not look at them. I didn't care who it was, Sarah. I did not care. It could have been a state champion. It could have been a wrestler on his first tournament wrestling me. I knew I was going to win.
Yep.
I didn't lose my senior year. I did not lose a single time until state. So I ended up taking fifth in the state that year. It was a little bit bigger competition. But I didn't lose a single time because I knew every single match was the exact same. I was going to do me. I wasn't going to give up when it got hard, and I was going to find a way to win. So that's business, Scott, right? And like we didn't have any sophisticated things when we got here. It was Kate and I and a phone and a stack of leads. We didn't even have digital leads yet. So we were calling leads, and like I remember walking into her office because she started a few months before me, and I'm like, Kate, are you triple dialing? She's like, yeah, that's why I'm setting more appointments than you, bro. And I was like, okay, I guess I got to triple dial. But we started warm market recruiting. So put a one in the chat if you do warm market recruiting. We're just going to take a bunch of polls today. I'll get all the way to 10 probably on this call. You should be warm market recruiting. There's good people out there that need to know what you do. Sarah, if you want to stay pinned, you can. You don't have to be on your
You're
P's and
great.
Q's the whole time, but if you want to, go ahead. So we started warm market recruiting. I was fired up about this business. So as I told you guys, my vision was always there since day one. It really was because I knew that I wanted to come into this business. I'm going to send a request to record if no one's recording this yet, so I can send it to my team. Is it recording, babe? Okay, cool.
I got it.
My Thank you. My vision coming into this business was I wanted to get really good at sales so that I could get out of sales. Okay. I've been doing sales since I was 14. I grew up in my dad's dealership. I sold vehicles for him before it was even legal. So I would just pass the sale off to the salesperson so they can do the paperwork, but he would pay me a commission. Once I was able to actually work for him, I started working for him, helped him build up a dealership. We moved around the country a bunch, ended up landing in, from Florida, from Washington State to Florida to Louisiana, and we built a boat and off-road dealership together. And it was his dream, not mine. I wanted to get out of sales because Kate and I remember we were talking about having all this time together to go live out our passion and like have time to travel and have time to be a family and so I knew I needed to get off that treadmill. So insert symmetry. Tyler and Ashley started recruiting me. It was actually Tyler that started recruiting me before he even met Ashley. But once I met Ashley, it kind of all clicked for me. That was the closer in the relationship because I saw the life that she was living, and I was like, "That's really cool." She's got like a bunch of time on her hands, and seemingly, it seems like they do pretty well. So when I came in the goal from day one was to build an agency so that I can get out of the field. And I ended up doing that in 32 months. I still produce here and again because again, once you have a big enough client base, there's going to be referrals, there's going to be additional policies, all the things. But this is not a producer call, so we'll talk about the building side of this. Day one for Kate and I was like figuring out production, but also telling a bunch of people about this business. I remember going to my very first conference. I was still working at the dealership. And I woke up day two and had this wild idea that I was going to post on Instagram, Sarah, and tell my entire follow base, which was like 300 people, and probably 10 of them cared, that I was quitting my job at the dealership and going all in, and watch my journey over the next couple years as I build a life insurance agency. Now, this pissed off my entire family because I was still working for a family business and I had to come home and have those conversations. But I'm walking out downtown Denver and I got my camera up in the air And I'm getting goosebumps as I talk about this because this is like the feeling I had of going all in and like really committing to something and telling the whole world about it, which ended up helping me recruit. If you go back to that video, please don't scroll back. It would be really creepy because I've posted a lot since then. That was 34 months ago. So there's a lot of posts about symmetry in between then and now. But as I go back and I look at all the posts, that was the one that was the first I'm in decision. And then people in my life, they started, asking me questions about what are you doing? Like, what's this symmetry thing? What's this life insurance stuff? So I ended up recruiting a guy from my Bible study. I ended up recruiting my cousin and I ended up recruiting a guy that worked for FFL that I went to high school with, and we started our agency owner run together. That was about um, five of us. I think we added a few more people over the next couple months, hit agency owner in 7 months with those people. None of them are here today. So I do want to tell you guys that I would love to have Liz back, my cousin. She's great at this. I would love to have Brandon back, but none of them are here today. And so that was around April of 2023. And then we went to the leadership conference and Casey's standing on stage, Sarah, and he's like, look, this is a numbers game. You need to run 20 interviews a week and set 15 appointments. There's two boxes you need to fill. That's all you need to focus on. And if you do that for a year straight, you're going to build a 100K agency. So I'm like or 20 interviews a week. I'm doing warm market. Danny told me that cold market is like the worst thing in the world, like the plague. So I'm going to just try to do this warm market. And so we did for a couple months, and then we started placing some ads. And if you want to go back and like go back to last week's call with Christina Watts, she's gonna map out really how you get started in the cold market recruiting. I'm gonna tell you today how to make it warm market. Is that cool, Sarah? We're gonna make our cold market warm market. So I remember this was about August of 2024. I reached out to Kate Doyle and I told her, I said, hey, I want to hit 130 within the next year. And I need some help. I need you to look at my numbers and give me some coaching on what I can do to hit that 130 mark. And she said, all right, well, it looks like to me from the outside, you have some really good producers on your team, but you guys are not the best at recruiting. So at that point, I got really narrow on recruiting and I started reaching out to some of the best recruiters in the company. I look at the by the number boards every single week, guys, and I could probably tell you your numbers right now. Tim, I know yours. Sarah, I know yours. A lot of you other leaders, I know yours. Okay, I memorize those boards and I find people that I want to work with based on what they're doing because I really do think and maybe this is from my one of my bosses back in the day, but he used to have us like print off all of our P&Ls. And then Sarah, you would hand me your P&L and I would hand you mine. And we had to write him a story about what was happening in that business. So I got to look at numbers, but I think about the people when I look at them. So I'm not just looking at numbers because when I wrote that story about their P&L, I would have to tell a story about what was happening in each department with the personnel. Okay. So when I look at the by the numbers board, that's what I see. When you go from invites sent out to ready to write to writer, I can see what's going on within that leadership team. All right. So I wanted to wrestle things up in my leadership team and say, hey, look, Kate Doyle said that we're not good at recruiting. So when I look back at this in 6 months, I would love to see that be a different story. Okay. So August 2024 to October 2024. This was the phase we're at issuing about 120K a month, and I'm telling Kate Doyle I want to be a 130 within a year. We need 100 grand issue paid to be able to do that, right? Okay, so she's like, you got to dive into recruiting. You got to really get people started on it. It can't just be you. It's got to be the thing that your agency does. Because as we know, we can bring in a ton of people, but how many of those people stick long term? How many of them become consistent writers? That's one more stat I look at, Sarah. If you want to see the ready to write to consistent writers, that tells a lot of stories about the leadership team as well. So, and my story wasn't telling itself the way that I wanted it to. So I just had to take a look in the mirror and ask myself, where was my time going? So from August to October, this was 24. I'm going to give you a 3 month number here. Okay. This was a 90-day run. So for those 90 days, 33 ready to writes, 138 writers, and 23 new writers. So at that time, Sarah, we were getting about 7 to 8 new writers a month. Okay. November to January is when we quote unquote went all in on recruiting. And by all in, I rallied all my friends on my team and I said, look, we're recruiting. If you want to get involved, this is how you get involved. To go back to last week's call with what Christine was talking about, that's exactly what I did. Okay. I got Sarah Hadley involved and Joseph Helms and we just sparked up like all the other leaders on my team. We just started talking about like how can we get better at recruiting and we put in some processes. We put in some systems. And today is not the systems call, okay? It's definitely not the systems call, but you got to have a system, you got to have a way to track it. Track your people that are coming through. For me, it started as a whiteboard, Sarah. It would literally go from conversation to second conversation to sent pre-licensing info to downloaded pre-licensing info to past exam to ready to write to new writer. And I had this list on my whiteboard, and you can see like 15 names in each row, and I just kept crossing people off and moving them down. So that was the first way I tracked, but I'll show you guys a little bit more sophisticated way here in a second. But either rate, I taught these systems to my team, and we just rallied around it, right? I had some good producers. That was not the issue. The issue was more people. All right. I'm also going to show you today a way that you can map out your next promotion. Put it too in the chat if you want to map out your next promotion and see how many people you need on your team to get there. Cool. We're going to do that. So from November to January, we went all in. We focused on promotions. Okay. You got to want for your people, not from them. So if I was going to come in and say, this is the charge we're taking, the why behind it was because I wanted to see my team get promoted. All right. During that time frame, we set up Joseph Helms for a key leader run, Sarah Hadley for a team leader run, Bob Greenwood and Sarah Hadley for team leader and key leader promotions. Joseph Helms now on an agency owner run, Wilbur Smith on an agency owner run, Bob Granzert on an AD run. We were able to do that because we added more people. They already all had several good producers on their teams. All right. So APV per writer was not the issue, Sarah. It wasn't like, oh, we need to just train on sales and like teach people how to close more, policies and help more families. It was we just need more headcount right now. So we focused on promotions and we started tracking literally everything. I'll show you guys some trackers here in just a moment, but really, whatever you use, just make sure that you track your numbers. For me, I'm going to share my screen. This is how I track my interviews. So tell me if you guys can see my screen here. Okay, good. Awesome. Okay, so interview 6-3, the state that they live in, the platform I found them on, whether they're licensed or unlicensed, whether they showed up, if I hired and entered them into our recruiting system, and if they scheduled their meet and greet, which is our second interview. I'll get to that here in a second, and whether I hired them or not. Okay, I got some notes on these people. You can see as I scroll up, a lot of people are hired. If they're in red, we didn't hire them or they dropped out on the process. Okay, so I had a way of tracking these people. This used to be my whiteboard. So the fact that I'm using an Excel sheet is like huge growth for me because I suck at spreadsheets, but Kate actually made this for me. So I just plug the names in and we go from there. We started tracking everything. I want to give you guys the numbers from February to April. Okay, because this is about what is that, 120-day spin? And we always say that recruiting is a 90-day lag. All right, so the work that you do today on recruiting is going to get you to where you need to be 90 days from now. So take a look at what you're doing right now for recruiting, and that is going to tell you a story about where you're going to be 90 days from now. So November through January, we're all in on recruiting. So Sarah, I should have the harvest right now, right? It's 90 days later from the time that we went all in on this. All right, 33 ready to writes was the average in August, 138 writers and 23 new writers. That was the 3-month run. 120 days later, we're at 111 ready to writes. That's up 236%. We're at 208 writers. That's a 3-month run. That's up 50%. And we're at 75 new writers of the last 3 months. That's up 226%. So we went from averaging 7 to 8 new writers a month to averaging 25 to 30 new writers a month in a 120-day span because we focused. Okay, because we focused. Now here's some fun stats because, if you don't look at Perform Dash and geek out on that stuff, maybe that doesn't get you fired up. But what that did for our agency and premium is we're up 12%. And that may sound like a small number, but that is net 100K. over the last 120 days, net 100K. So if you want to go grow a 100K agency, yeah, Casey's right. You could do that in a year. Okay. You can absolutely do that in a year. If you have a bunch of people growing your agency with you, you can do that in 120 days. Okay. So that's what we did. We added 100K APV in the last 120 days. We're also up 30% in app count. And what that means to me is that we helped 200 additional families than we were helping before. 200 more families have protection on their loved ones. Okay. And I love that. I love that number so much. All right. We're going to do a case study right now. And I'm going to map out how you can go after your next promotion based on what you're currently doing in your recruiting. So the case study that I'm going to give you guys, and if you're taking notes, you can do it. If you want to post it in the chat and share your numbers with people, I think that'd be a really cool thing to do. But you're going to take what you issued in business last month. Take the total number that you issued in business, round up, round down, make it easy numbers, and divide it by the number of riders you have. So if you issued 50K in business and you have 9 riders, go 50,000 divided by 9. What you're going to end up with is the number of issued APV per rider on your team. Okay. And if you're an agency owner right now and you're producing about 75% of what your agency is doing, take your number out of it. Okay. Take your issue paid number out of it. If there's a healthy balance there and your agency is producing more than what you're doing on your own pen, you can include yourself. All right. So Sarah Hadley issued 22,500 last month. She had 7 riders. That means that she had issue paid $3,200 per head in her agency. Sarah Hadley, unmute for me real quick. I'm going to use you.
Sure, what's up?
Okay, cool. You have 7 new riders on your team, or 7 riders on your team, and about $3,200 per head. All right. How many new riders do you need on your team to hit your next contract level promotion based on those numbers?
3.
You need 3 additional people.
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. So you guys can all go do that math, right? What is my average issued business per head on my team? That's the total issued divided by the number of riders. And how many more do I need to get to where I need to go? Okay, for me, last August when I talked to Kate, we were at about $3,100 per head. So Sarah, your average is a little bit higher than mine. Okay, we are about $3,100 per head, and we needed 100K in business. So being at 50 riders at the time, I knew that I could hit 130 once I got to 70 riders. Okay. All I needed to do was add net 20. So that was my goal over the last 120 days. I wanted to add net 20. So if you're like looking at your business right now and you're going from a 100 to a 105, maybe that's only 3 people net that you need on your team. Okay. So there's some motivation, and that's how you can map out every single promotion that you go through. How many people do I need to get to the next level? My recommendation, always look at the second promotion up. So if you're at a 100 right now, look at what you need for a 110 and go after that. Always shoot for 1 promotion higher. Okay. Sarah, the cool thing is the next 90 days for us are looking even brighter. I can tell the future right now. I can tell the future of my business. I can actually forecast it now. I love that because I'm tied to the numbers because I love numbers. I was a sales manager before this, but it also means that there's a lot more growth coming for the members on my team, like Sarah. Okay. Sarah's going to be an agency owner in the next 6 months, right? We know that. We know that based on what she's doing currently with interviewing and what she's doing personally on her own pen. Okay. So it's really cool to look at the next 90 days. They're even brighter than they are right now. So I know I have a growing business because you look at ready to writes to writer to new writer and consistent writer, you look at those numbers, they tell a story. Okay. So since we've gotten really narrow on recruiting, the story is getting better and better. Okay. You just need to go get more good people. Now, do we just hire anybody? No. This is the whole message for that. I took 26 minutes to lead you up to this point, guys. Okay, I just wanted to get some hood credit with you first by talking about numbers. But this is really what the call is all about. How do we go find good people? All right, how do we go find good people? Well, my philosophy is that you are going to attract them. You're going to attract good people. Okay? Kate and I use LinkedIn. Most of our agency uses LinkedIn. So again, last week was a precursor to this week. Go back and watch Christina's call. She taught us how to place ads, how to interview people. She went through a role play interview. It was really good. So for this week, I'm going to take you a little bit deeper dive. We are doing that. We are placing ads on LinkedIn. We do ZipRecruiter as well. For Charisse, we do about $1,700 on LinkedIn, probably about the same on ZipRecruiter. Um, so so placing the ads is not what I'm going to talk about today, but finding good people is. So I'm going to show you guys my Instagram and LinkedIn page because this, like what your page looks like, matters to the people that are checking you guys out and that are looking at your agency as an opportunity. I believe that your social media is a business card. It's basically your digital business card and your footprint of what people can expect what they're getting into with you. Does that make sense, Sarah? Like they're checking you out. They're probably going to your page and scrolling around a little bit. Would you agree?
Sure. I mean, there's every single person we hire through LinkedIn has done that. And they might even go to your social media, your Facebook, Instagram. Like it doesn't have to be perfect, but it needs to be professional and positive. And then you'd be able to tell that this is your thing, right? They should be able to tell real quickly that it's your thing. Yeah.
Yep, Brian Kraus just put in the comments, that's how I found you. I was actually going to show you guys Brian's DM to me where he said, "Hey, I found you on a YouTube video that Symmetry posted. I found your Instagram. I scrolled through your page and I want to be on your team." Brian Kraus just ran his first appointment yesterday. It's crazy how that works. Okay, it's so cool. So I'll share my Instagram page. I want to do this first with you guys because I would say most people end up going to it, whether you know it or not. Like I had a, Sarah, this was kind of creepy, but I also loved it in the same way. I had an interview with a lady 2 weeks ago. Her name was Stephanie Wallace. She's going through pre-licensing right now. But she hopped on the interview and she goes, "Scott, I love the post that you just made about your business vision." She said, "I love that you're empowering agents. I love that you're focused on honor, grit, growth, and accountability." She listed out my company core values for me because she went to my Instagram page. Now I'm sitting there doing the interview and I'm just like, I absolutely love the intentionality behind this. Like she cares about those core values. That's what I live by. I want this person. So we were both on fire for each other in that interview, but I'll share my page with you guys just to show you an example of the different DMs you could see. Are you guys seeing my Instagram page? Okay, cool. So I've got obviously cute videos. My son went viral. I think we got 500,000 views on this. I normally get like 10, so that was a cool post. But I do post about the business quite a bit. This was the post that Stephanie was talking about. You know, I talked about my vision for this business. I post things about the opportunity. So if you'll click on this one, it'll show like, hey, new agents start off at 80% commission. You can go all the way up to 130. This is what it looks like to join our team. I love this picture of our team at conference. Where is it? Let me find it. This picture right here. Okay, I had an interview with a new agent that came over from New York Life, and she said, "I saw that picture of your team on your Instagram, and it just looks like everyone's happy and normal." Okay, she brought over a book of business with her and wrote 16,000. Okay, so she found us. All right. So all these posts, like I do post about my family. Actually, you know what? Let me do a social check. Put in the comments what the three things that I post about. If you've seen my page and you know what I post about, put the three things that I consistently post about in the comments. Do I see breakfast on there? Yes, I see breakfast. What else? You guys are gonna roast me. Okay, God, family, and food. Yep, nailed it, Don Hooks. Nailed it, Brian. Family, faith, and breakfast. Yep, nailed it, Brian. Okay, so that's what I post about, but I'm very, very consistent. All right, very consistent. Yesterday's post. Hey, new agents start around an 80. They go up to 130%. If you want location freedom, flexible schedule, work from home opportunities, like do this. We're hiring. All right. This post led to this DM. Dylan Crane, I'll get back to you, bro. We're running a call. Sorry about that, man. I'm just flexing, guys. I'm just flexing. We're doing a workout together. Okay, so Grace ended up DMing me. She said, "Hey, I just wanted to inquire about the open position for this. Here's a 3-minute video." Cool. I've been looking for a job since I moved. I said, all right, it's 1099 sales position. It's a lot of hard work up front, but very worth it. You can work part-time or full-time, build your own schedule. If you build a team, you can make passive income from that as well. She goes, cool. So it's life insurance. I'm like, yep, that's what we do. All right, what would be my next steps? Here, book a call. We'll chat. Okay, super easy. Brian, I just want to do this. Let me go to Brian's DM. I want to see exactly what he said. Brian Kraus. Brian Kraus is on my team right now. He's awesome. Hey Scott, my name is Brian Kraus. I watched the video on the SSG website. I went straight to Instagram to see if I could find you. Here we are. I'm currently a CDJR commercial truck manager at a dealership. I'm looking for a change. I'm sure you're busy, but I love your message and I have a bunch of questions. If at all possible, I would like to connect and see if this is all possible for me. Boom. Okay. Just ran his first appointment yesterday. That was 12 weeks ago. Okay. So Brian is actually leaving that dealership at the end of this month and going here full time. Pretty cool how that works, right? So enough with my Instagram. I'm going to take you guys over to LinkedIn because this is where we post all of our job postings. This is really what today's call is all about. All right, your what you post is your digital business card. People are going to check you out. So I just had a picture of Gabby and
But
Fred
here
here.
it's me wrong.
Whoops, did you have a question? Someone unmuted? Maybe an accident. Okay, Gabby and Fred just posted here, so I thought that they would be up front, but I guess it refreshed. You guys can check out a few people from my team. Wilbur Smith posts like I do. Bob Granzer's posting like I do. Bob Granzer posts a lot on his page, but I really do believe that people from our job ads from the Schnitzer Agency LinkedIn are going over to my personal page. They're doing homework on me, and then they're going over to my Instagram as well. So a lot of the posts that you're going to see on LinkedIn are the same that I have on Instagram, right? Very similar. Okay. I'm posting about the job opportunity. I'm shouting out my team, talking about conference, talking about that we're hiring fully remote sales position, location freedom, flexible schedule, work from home, right? I'm posting. I sit down on Sunday and I do 2 weeks worth of posts at the same time. So Sarah, all the posts that you're seeing here I sat down and I just scheduled them out. Like I got creative for a second. I don't like doing this every day. I just get a creative kick and I'm like, all right, I'll just post for the next 2 weeks. So all of these are pre-posted. Okay, and they're timed out throughout the week. So there will be something posted today that I set up last Sunday. But I post consistently, and what I've found through we do the job ads. What I've found through that is that most of our really good candidates skip the application. They go straight over to my personal page and they DM me. Okay, similar to maybe this one, Scott. And then we haven't responded to this yet, so we're going to recruit this guy in live time. Are you guys cool with that? We're going to recruit him right now. Scott, I saw your post a few days ago in regards to your agency. Not sure what disability insurance looks like in that conversation, but if you have some time to connect next week, let me know. I am a DI wholesaler for an independent DI only brokerage, blah, blah, blah. Would love to help your team in another revenue stream. Okay, cool. So I'm going to go over to this note that I have saved. This is a quick text that I'm going to send him. I'm going to paste it in and it says, I'll make it personal. Hey, Alex. Great. If you're interested in moving forward, we'd love to meet with you. You can schedule a first interview here. Give it a space. Space. Did I do that right? Oops. Let me make sure I did that right. That needs to go over here. Cool. All right. I'm messing everything up now. I'll just leave that there. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Looking forward to the possibility of working together. Here's a 3-minute video. So he's got the booking link for my calendar and he's got a 3-minute video. I expect to see Alex in my calendar in the next couple of days. All right. I'm going to answer a few other DMs. We've got Jimmy. Hey, Scott. It's Jimmy Moylan. I just saw your post about the opportunity with your company. So they're going from the job post over to my personal page. These are 2 fresh ones today. I get about 10 of these a day. Just saw your job post. I have been in the insurance sales for a year now and saw great success in year 1. I am looking to grow my sales career and I'm very interested in the opportunity. So what are we going to do? We're going to post the same thing. Okay, Jimmy. Great. If you're interested, okay, you guys know the drill. Send. All right. He'll be in my schedule in a couple days. That's how we do it here. Okay. They're going to reach out because they see you consistently posting. They're interviewing you before they even apply. A lot of the times they're not even applying. They're just going to DM you on your personal page. This is more attraction marketing to your cold market to make them warm market. Because when I hop on interviews with these people, Jimmy has already looked at my page. He already knows what I'm about, and he's telling me things about me that he likes. I like that your agency focuses on new agents. I like that they offer support and development for new agents. I like that you guys are focused on like honor, like you guys have a core value of honoring people and accountability and all the things. They know this because that's what I consistently post about. I also will reach out to some people. You guys can see with Karina, I've reached out to her. I believe I sent the first DM. Yep, she just popped up in my feed. I said, "Hey, Karina, what are you up to for work these days? We are chatting today." Okay, so you could reach out to some people. Most of them come to us.
Scott, I want to highlight real quick the importance of your personal and your business page. So I saw a few questions in here about where the job posts are and then reaching out business page versus personal page. If somebody is going and looking for a job and they apply through the job post, which is from the Schnitzer agency page, in all of the posts that I put on there, I tag Scott's profile. So I, in some way, bring some wording into it. You know, the Schnitzer agency ran by Scott Schnitzer, and I tag and I hyperlink his personal profile. So we share a lot of the same posts from his personal page to the business page, but a lot of times people are applying to a job, clicking on the Schnitzer agency business page, and then they're like, oh, this is the guy that runs it. Let me go check him out. So it's important to have content on both of them so that people are looking at it from a business side, but then a personal side of who they're going to be working with and being mentored and led by as well.
So Jimmy just reached back out. I will do that after work today. Thank you so much. Now, the second thing is like we go through all of our applicants and Kate looks at resumes and she sees people that would be good candidates. She'll send them direct messages as well. So this was actually from us. This is a guy that applied. We're going the next step because we want him to come into our personal world. We don't just want it to be an interaction where we're just posting job ads and whoever applies, applies. We're looking for good people. This guy looks like a sharp dude. His name's Adam. So he applied to our job. We sent him a DM. Hey, Adam, we received your application to the Schnitzer agency. Just sent you the next steps via InMail, which is how you communicate with applicants. I wanted to personally connect with you and say hello here as well. Check out that email and let me know if you have any questions. I'm looking forward to meeting you. So now we're off of the job. We're off of the Schnitzer agency job posting. We're on my personal page. Adam's getting a DM from the owner of the company. How do you think Adam feels as an applicant? That's pretty cool. The owner of the Schnitzer agency just DM'd me. He's looking forward to meeting me. All right. I hope that he applies. I really don't know because Kate tracks that side of it. She does all the job postings. But if I end up hopping on a call with Adam, he may say, "Hey, thanks for the personal message. I think that meant a lot. You really stood out from all the other life insurance agencies because you went the extra step and actually said hi to me." Okay. So that's the digital business card. Like I want to make a footprint. I want to post as much as possible. I want people to look at my stuff. Okay. It's all genuine. It's all genuine. I'm excited about this business, guys. Remember where I started this call. I wanted to sell enough to get out of the field. Well, guess what? The path to out of the field is not getting really good at sales and staying there. The path to getting out of the field is building an agency. All right. So that's what I wanted to do. Now, the LinkedIn philosophy from taking cold market to warm market, we just went through. The tagging is the strategy Kate just mentioned. I think that helps out a lot. It'll help people find those different pages. The job post, I think, is really important too. And I'm not really going to get into the actual verbiage in the job post. You guys can use Chat GPT. That's what we did. We just kind of spoke to it. I said, "Hey, Chat GPT, I want to create a job posting where when people read my post, they feel like they're going to be a part of our company and not just another number. I want them to know that they have a high potential for income earning here, but I also want them to know that they'll be a part of a great culture. Create me a job posting that would help someone feel that when they read it." And then ChatGPT creates me a job posting, exactly what I wanted it to say. All right, so we did that. Now we want to filter out because, guys, LinkedIn is a wild world. You're going to get applicants from all over the place, maybe even out of the country, and we cannot hire people out of the country. So we do a really good job gatekeeping. All right. Now, my show rate to my first interviews are 80%. My show rate to my second interviews are also right around 80%. This is why. We're not just offering this to anyone. We're gatekeeping. Okay? People from out of the country, oftentimes they don't show up and we can't hire them anyways. All right? Someone that's just clicking auto apply to your job posting without doing too much work on it. Like an example of that, Sarah, would be someone who has a LinkedIn profile, no picture, never posted, never liked anything. They just applied to apply, right? They're not really a professional. Okay? We're going to gatekeep that person from going to the next steps. We're not even going to pursue them. All right. So we're opening up the resume. Kate reads them. I don't. I don't really care what it says on the resume. Kate reads it because I think that's a LinkedIn algorithm. LinkedIn wants to know that you're actually reading applications and not just sending out mass messages. So there's a pro tip for you guys. But she opens them up, she reads through them, and then we go after the folks that we want. We go after them. All right. So the filter out we do is through the job application. They're gonna say, "Yep, I know that this is 1099. Yes, I know that I need to live in the US. Yes, I'm okay getting my license if I don't have one yet. And yes, I watched the 3-minute video." That's my filtering system. If those are not yeses, they cannot apply. Once they apply, we send them a link to our first interview. They have to answer the same questions again. So, Sarah, I'm gatekeeping twice. Yes, I live in the US. Yes, I know this is a 1099 sales only job. Yes, I am okay getting my license if I don't have one yet. I'm gatekeeping that whole process twice because, guys, people just click through things, right? Sometimes they don't even read and they just click through it. So I want another filter, another layer to keep people out that are not high interest candidates. I have loved sitting on interviews because I get in front of good people. If I had to sit on interviews with people who had zero interest, and I'll find out in the first question I ask them, but I would really hate that job. It would be a really tedious, long day. I would probably feel really tired at the end of the day. Okay. Put a 5 in the comments if you've ever seen me tired on a team call. Okay. I love my job. I get to sit in front of awesome people every day. All right, so that filtering process is important. Now, the first interview, I'll role play a few questions with you. Okay, I sit down with them. I'm excited. I bring energy. I bring excitement. My very first question to them is, catch me up on what you've been up to the last couple of the years, and let me know what stood out to you about this opportunity that made you feel like this was somewhere you could plant your flag. The answer to that question is going to decide if I spend any more than 2 minutes with them. Okay. If they remembered the job posting and they're able to tell me something that they were excited about, if they did homework on me, if they did homework on the agency, if they looked up Symmetry and watched videos, that's going to come out through that first question. If they say, I don't know, I was looking for a sales job, so I just applied to a bunch, I would say, okay, great. Sarah, thank you so much for applying. Our hiring team will be reaching out to you if we decide to move forward with you, okay? The interview would be over after 2 minutes or maybe even less. Because again, if I'm going to get a really high show rate to the second interview, I can't just move anyone through that's just looking for a sales job. This isn't just a sales job. This is the best kept secret in business. If they're not excited about that just from reading our job post and watching the 3-minute video, then I don't want that person. Okay. And they're probably not going to show up to the second interview. So how do I get an 80% show to the second interview? I move forward good candidates. When they answer that question, Sarah, they're saying like, oh my gosh, I love that you can make passive income here. I love that I can build my own schedule. And I also am really good at sales. I saw that you guys can make a lot of money doing sales here. They're answering to that question. And we're going through the next one, which I'm typically asking them about like their level of ownership and like how they would manage being a 1099 coming from a W-2. I just like to hear that from them. The last question I asked Sarah, and maybe you can answer this for me. I'll interview you. Are you okay with that?
I'm ready.
All right, my last question, Sarah, is just, kind of tell me which word means the most to you, and then maybe put them in order for me, okay? Relationships, growth, personal growth, accolades, and income. Which one stands out the most, and how would you order them?
I like all those things. Okay, am I a new hire? Probably I'm going to say income if I'm a new hire. Okay, so income. Am I frozen?
I can hear you.
If I'm a new hire, I'm probably going to say income, relationships, accolades.
Okay. Why did you choose income first? Tell me a little bit more about that, Sarah.
Well, right now in our family, it's just really tight. I'm tired of it being tight and working really hard and a lot of hours, and we just can't get ahead. And I want that for
Mm,
my family.
okay. Perfect. Thank you. Okay. Now I know what Sarah's pain point is.
Yep, that's so good.
Okay. I know Sarah's pain point. A lot of people say relationships first. About 90% of them do because they know that better relationships get them to better income. I love that answer too, and that's how I would order it. If you know, probably not as a new hire, but now I would, right? So when people say that, I'm like, me too. That's amazing. Tell me why you ordered it that way. Like, just I want to hear their explanation. Okay,
Okay.
if they have a reason behind it, you're usually going to hear their pain point. So from there, I would say, Sarah, you know, this interview, the reason why it was only 15 minutes is because I just want to meet the people who are coming into the agency. I could hire out for this position, but I would do a really bad job bringing in good people. So I'd run the first interviews. I do them as a short 15-minute interview because I want to make sure that the people I'm devoting my time to are people that I'm excited to work with. I think you would be great at this. Would you be open to going to the next steps?
For sure. Can I just say, I feel the exact same way as you do about that first interview. And I know there's a lot of different philosophies out there. That's not something I'm outsourcing.
Nope. I
I'm
got
just
45. I got 45 this week, Sarah. I'm doing them all.
gonna do it.
I'm
And
doing them all.
it's the I think that connection built right there is important. It's really important. Again, there's a lot of
Especially
philosophy
if they applied to your agency, they're going to your Instagram, they're searching out, they're doing homework on your family, and then you know, and then you have an assistant from overseas doing their first interview. It for me, that philosophy, I'm owning that right now. Would I hire extra people to do that job? Sure, but I'm still going to take a bulk of them myself. Okay, I'm never going to get away from that game because Marshall told me not to.
Yeah, same,
Okay.
same. What does he
Uh,
know? For about
yeah.
$200,000 a month coming in passively. So,
So I would tell you from this point, Sarah, since you're open to moving to that next call, you're going to have a chance to interview us, okay?
okay.
Yeah, I'm going to send you a video. It's about 45 minutes. It's a company overview. Write down a bunch of notes and questions that you have. On that next call, you're going to have the chance to go through all of them. We're going to talk about leads. We're going to talk about income, promotions, how to build a team, all that stuff. And we'll spend plenty of time going through it. I will let you know that's a group call, okay? We're going to have a couple of my team members on that call so you can meet a few more people on the team. You're going to love them. And you're also going to see a couple other agents that are going through the interview process this week with us, okay? You froze out. Not sure if you heard that. All right. While Sarah's rebooting, you guys got that? Are you there, Sarah? Okay, cool. So when I let them know about what's happening with the next steps, now they can prepare for that next call. They're not hopping on that next call and being like, why is there 10 people here with me in the Zoom? Okay, my team does a group second interview. We call it a meet and greet. I run 4 of those myself per week. All right. I typically have anywhere from 9 to 15 recruits on that call at a time. And I typically have 1 or 2 team members with me. All right. So we let them know that they're going to be on a group call. Now, Sarah, are you back with us? Okay, never mind. Those recruits, they're not all coming from me. We have 17 builders right now, maybe 20 at this point. 17 last time I checked. So all of those first interviews that are happening throughout the week, they're all funneling the people that they really like into a meet and greet with me. So that's going to sound a little bit different. Like if TJ, you're on my screen, so I'm going to use you. If TJ Thompson's doing the first interview, he's probably going to tell that applicant, hey, that meet and greet call is going to be with Scott, our agency director. You're going to love him. He's going to answer all your questions. I should be there as well as long as my schedule allows. I'll come hang out with you guys, but you're going to love Scott. Okay. And he's kind of setting me up for that next call. But we do 4 meet and greets a week. So when I sit there with them, I am answering questions. I'm getting excited about the opportunity. Everyone asks the same questions every single week. They want to know about leads. They want to know about training. They want to know what makes us different from other agencies. They want to know what income should look like the first year. They want to know how much they need to invest, how to get their license, how much it costs to get their license. These are all the normal things. So guess what? I'm really good at answering those questions. I get the same ones every week. So I was doing all of these second calls one-on-one, but I realized I'm not time crunching enough here. I'm answering the same questions. And guess what? I could have someone on the call that asks all the questions and everyone else on that call all the other recruits were thinking the same thing. So we started doing these in groups. All right. That was the next thing I wanted to talk about. At that point, they've watched the video, so they're probably going to have several questions about the company culture as well. Guys, I just kind of want to land the plane here. Track everything, okay? Track your interviews, track where they're at in the process. Whatever way you're going to do it, do it. I started on a whiteboard. Kate made me get more sophisticated with things because the volume went up, but my whiteboard is like probably 5 feet wide by 3 feet tall. And I had each section of the interviewing process on there, and I would just move people down. Now we use the spreadsheet I showed you guys at the beginning of the call. Last thing, get them into the culture ASAP. Okay. When you end that meet and greet call, let them know that the best agents here, I took this from Sarah Reinecke, the best agents on our team get into Slack early, they get onto team calls early, and they show up to the Mac room to work. Okay. So I just give them the answers to the test early on. If you want to be a winning agent here, you're going to do those 3 things. So I would expect to start seeing my recruits before they're even licensed showing up to the team calls. What's that going to do for them, guys? Put it in the chat. If they start showing up to our team calls before they're even licensed, what's that going to do for them? Yeah, culture, confidence, belief, inspiration. Get them fired up. Absolutely. Okay. So that's really, without going into detail of what the job ads say, that's my philosophy on posting a job ad. I want them to get into my warm market. I want to choose quality candidates. Remember, it's not about quantity. It's about quality. You can do quantity and still get quality. All right. But you can't just hire anybody. Not everyone's cut out for this. Okay. They have no profile picture on LinkedIn and they're applying to 100 jobs today. That's the person we don't want. Okay. Kate, do you have anything to add to that? Or I'd like to open it up to Q&A as well.
Yeah, I want to highlight it about how you were emphasizing about tracking everything. Guys, a huge reason we track everything is, okay, look, Scott has 40 plus interviews this week. He can't possibly remember everybody, every conversation, every detail about them. So tracking and taking notes on the person that you're talking to, starts the rapport that you're just going to soon build with them as they join your agency. But then also follow up. Like, yes, we want to hire people that are professional, efficient, on time. They care about this. They're going to run after it. They're going to have grit. They're going to have those characteristics, that we have that we're looking to build with. But life happens. Scott and I have had people that had car accident, things like, oh my gosh, I didn't mean to skip. I'm so sorry, blah, blah, blah. I didn't mean to miss it. But then not only that, when we enter somebody into our system, flukes happen. They may not receive the email. We've ran into that numerous times. We had a whole fluke on this a couple weeks ago. They may not receive the email with the video link. They may not receive the automated text message. So having that tracker that Scott showed you guys in the beginning of this call allows you to go back and say, Sarah Hadley said that she was going to watch this video and schedule her meet and greet, and she never did. So, hey, I can follow up. Hey, just checking in. Did you get that email? Did you want to schedule a meet and greet? There's still availability for one this week. Oh my gosh, no, I never saw the email. Hey, check your spam. So it allows you to go through your list. Scott's, goes back through once a week, the last 10, 40, whatever people that he interviewed this week. And hey, just want to follow up. Did you get that email? Did you schedule your meet and greet? If you're not tracking, you don't have data to know where to invest in your recruiting. Us tracking all of this allows us to see, hey, LinkedIn is performing better. Let's add another job slot. Let's pull back on LinkedIn. Let's add ZipRecruiter. Let's do more Craigslist. Let's dabble in Indeed. It allows us to have data to see how this is working so we can further optimize it for our team and then follow up on those applicants as well.
Jason Kirkaldy, you here? I just saw you. So I went back to your name. I interviewed you on 5-5. This is like we have green check marks all the way down. We hired you. How many times did I text you and just check in on you during your process?
I don't remember, but it was a few times, quite a few times.
Now Jason, I don't need to text him. Jason tells me what he's doing. Jason just made the same post that I did 3 years ago. He went on his Instagram and he said, "Watch me in my journey. I'm about to build a life insurance agency. Follow along." Okay. I feel like we're close now. Like I've seen him on every single team call. He's on the accountability call every single morning. He hasn't even sold a policy yet. He's in the culture. He's in Slack commenting on people's stuff. He's a good team member already. So Jason, I'm excited for you, man, but I just wanted to point that out because I saw your face.
Appreciate it, Scott. Yeah, I'm just waiting for the NPN number.
Yep. Yep.
And guys, by Scott doing that and following up, Jason, not to put words in your mouth, Jason, but I assume that you feel this level of trust now, that you can trust Scott as your mentor and your leader, that you can trust that, hey, if something comes up and I have a question, I can lean on him. Much like Brian Kraus. Brian Kraus went through interviewing us through our personal social medias and was like, hey, these are people I might want to partner with. And then Scott has stayed true to who he is that Brian saw on social media. And now Brian has a level of trust that is only going to bring him further in his career here.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I'll
would
answer.
agree. And you could see the accountability, like, every day we show up and Scott's pushing everybody to do better. So I could
Yep.
see that.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you. But I go through that list every Saturday, guys. So I don't blow them up or bother them. I go through every Saturday and I'm like, who can I text today that can help them get to the next phase? Because like I'm trying to take them from cold market to warm market. So if I'm like constantly checking it, hey, how's your Saturday going? Good, man. We're out at the ball field with the kids. Awesome. Like we're going back and forth a few times. We're chatting. Those conversations usually carry on throughout the week. Now Jason's so fired up, he's updating me on his stuff, right? But I care about Jason was like the person that we would DM and say, "Hey, we want you to apply." And he's the person I'm fired up about right now, right? There's a lot of people like that, but you got to be intentional about it if you're going to get that person from a cold market to a warm market. Now Jason and I are about to build a business together, right? Brian and
Yes,
I are
sir.
about to build a business together. There are probably others on the screen, so I'm not trying to leave you out, but I'm excited for you. Trevor, let's open it up to questions.
Hey, buddy. Thank you. That was awesome. So question for people at my stage, right? And there's a bunch of us, at my stage in here, right? I can't produce yet. Like, I love what you said, right? I'm producing because I want more job ads and I want to, right,
Yep.
go from there. But I'm also not I can do 45 interviews a week, right? Like, I'm not at that time frame. So what are you teaching your agents that are coming up, right? Your team leaders, key leaders, run into AO. How are you managing that other than run like someone's chasing you?
Honestly, I'm working a lot more hours than I should be right now. Last week I wrote 12K and did 30 interviews.
Yeah.
I'm working a lot more hours than I should be right now. We have a newborn at home. Life is crazy, but guess what? Kate and I want to be 130s. We've never been that before. We have to do different things than we've ever done. So it's not easy to build this business. It's going to take longer than you think. But guys, when I put my son down to bed at 7, I may have 5 more interviews that night. Do I want to do them? In the short term, no, I don't want to freaking do them. I want to go to bed or like hang out with Kate for an hour or two, but we're building something here. She gets it. She gets it. She's on board with this. She gets to see the income come in every day, the overrides and the income from producing. So, what I tell my agents, I don't expect them to do as much as I do. I expect them to set 20 interviews a week and run 15 appointments. If you can get to that number and you can do that for a year, you're going to have a really cool agency in a year from now. So put a 52-week tracker on your whiteboard, Trevor, because I know you track everything. Just give yourself a check mark every time you were able to do 15 appointments set in 20 interviews. Okay. And that's all I expect of my agents. I don't expect them to be working until 10 at night or at 7 in the morning. I'm on that wavelength right now because I want to get somewhere that I've never been before. But I just expect them to do what Marshall and Casey have laid out.
Awesome. Thanks.
Alex.
Hey Scott, how are you, bud? Thanks you
Good, man.
for all this, man. It's been great info. I saw the screenshots that Kate put in the chat there in regards to the job posting questions. What's been y'all's trick to get around? I don't want to say get around, but like every time I post on LinkedIn, if I put anything that is SFG or even 1099 commission related, it gets kicked. Like, and I don't like, is there something that people should be doing differently to be able to get those to stay up and not get like flagged?
Yeah, Kate, maybe you can help out. We don't post about SFG. Everything's the Schnitzer agency.
Sure.
Kate, do you have any
Like the
for
1099 question specifically.
Yeah, I'm going to give credit to Bob Granshard because he has taught so many of us about this. He has figured out LinkedIn for sure. If you guys hear Liam, I'm sorry, he's eating lunch and talking. But what I did when we signed on with LinkedIn was I was very intentional. We had jumped around from from other platforms, and I was very intentional of, hey, I did not receive the customer service or the help that I wanted or that I needed here. So I want to make sure, can I be partnered with somebody that's going to help me learn LinkedIn? You're paying for this service. So utilize their team. They'll put you in touch with somebody. And they gave us a lot of tips too about how to not get flagged of being an MLM and things like that. So I'll tell you what we do. I put a link to Scott's profile in the chat. If you scroll up, you'll find it. Just search Scott Schnitzer. In both of our profiles, mine as well. We aren't shying away from the fact that we're with Symmetry. You'll see, like, in our experience, like, we have, when we hit Symmetry, or excuse me, when we joined Symmetry and worked as like an independent agent, and then as soon as we hit agency owner, contractually, we had our own business then. So then you'll see that the years are different from the Schnitzer agency versus Symmetry.
Right.
And our rep, Devin, that we worked with, had said people are going to put 2 and 2 together that you're with Symmetry. Also, the first 3-minute video we're sending is Get to Know Symmetry 2024. So we do not put anything specifically about Symmetry Financial Group in the job ads, but in those questions, we do highlight that it's a 1099. If people are applying, they are going to see and put together that you are partnered with Symmetry. And then there are some people that are like, I never want to work with Symmetry. Okay, this isn't for you. That's fine. But that's kind of how we get around it, is we don't shy away from it. It's still in our experience. But then as soon as we hit agency owner, that's when the years are differing from when we became agency owner, separate from Symmetry.
So you've had no, my problem is I've always had, every time I post anything that mentions not even Symmetry, like you said, I always put the Jackson agency, but every time I've put something that's like has the numbers 1099 or commission or anything that's basically not like a job, a W-2, my jobs get pulled almost
So
instantaneously.
I would work with your rep and
Okay.
just show him your job ad and get his sign off, his or her sign off on it, and make sure
Okay.
that it's up to par for what they're looking for. Because essentially they're the ones that are going to fight for you if you get flagged. We've been flagged once. It was
Mhm.
like you're on probation for 3 days, and then it went through and everything was fine.
And I'll tell you, Alex, if you're getting kicked off, that's like the Lincoln algorithm. It's like the robots automatically block you. It's
Yeah.
not like
Two
personally.
two
So
things.
dig in and figure out why and what it is. But again, I'm going to give credit to Bob Gransert, who taught us this. There's a number of things that they factor. I don't want to get into like a LinkedIn lesson
Sure.
because of time here, but you want to open resumes and you want to direct people back to InMail.
Just
So
gonna
like
say
how you saw, if I see somebody that we really like and I want to interview them, I'll message them and say, hey, go check out InMail, because they'll knock you if there's a low response rate. So you want people to respond on InMail, and you want to scroll through their resumes before sending them a message. So it could be a number of things there, but I would get with your rep. And then just really start to dig in and learn what do they penalize you for, and what are you at risk of? How do you appear to not be an MLM so that you
Sure.
aren't put at risk of being taken down?
Awesome.
I
Thank you for
think
the
the easy
answers.
I think the easy route would be to CSV everyone and send them all a bulk email. Okay. But again, that goes against all my values of hiring good people.
Right.
So opening up the InMail, messaging them, opening up their resume. LinkedIn knows how many resumes you open. So if you're not opening any, I mean, all those things Kate just gave, those are pro tips. But Alex, yeah, work with your rep. That might help out too.
Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, man. Sean, what's up?
Hey, brother. Thank you for the call. Great stuff. I was on a call yesterday with Michael Minch and kind of explained to him a couple things about, where we're at in the building versus production, all those sorts of things, and trying to balance that out and find find and get his opinion on cleanest, most efficient way to balance those two things out. Told him exactly where I was, how many interviews I'm doing per week, and dial times and things like that. And he said, hey, the person you need to ask specifically about what they were doing at your stage where you're at is Scott Snitcher, because he was right at a consistent every week, this amount of production, like clockwork. And he told me specifically that you were on a digital lead type at that time, probably
Yep.
about a year ago, I think he said, and it was Lighthouse at that time. Is that still what you're doing when you're doing your production?
Yeah, I stopped buying leads in January just because I needed to make a shift more into a director role for our agency. I felt like it was the right time. We took a step back in income for a month, and then it went up. So it was worth it, I would say. Last year, all of 2024, I was in the field. All of 23 and 24, I bought 10 digital leads a week. All right.
Mortgage protection or just general life?
General life.
General life. Okay.
Yep. And in those 2 years, I got really, really good at referrals because, again, I wanted to spend a lot of my week recruiting and mentoring my team. Guys, we can't just bring people in and just leave them out there to dry. So I wanted to spend a lot of my time hanging out with the team, and I couldn't spend all my time making 400 or 500 dials. I did that my first year in the business. bought 30 leads a week, made 300 to 400 dials, set 15 to 20 appointments. It took up a lot of my time because I was chasing people down. My production schedule, I tried to have all my production done by Tuesday so that Wednesday I can plug in, be on the national call, take Wednesday afternoon off, and then recruit all day Thursday and Friday. So it's a balance. I mean, I don't recommend anyone going down to 10 digital leads unless you're getting a lot of referrals at this point. Okay. Once you get good at referrals, you can shorten your lead cost and kind of scale down, but not until you're getting consistent referrals. Last year I wrote 298,000 and 89 of that was referrals, Sean. So it definitely played a big part.
Thank you, sir.
Mark.
All right, fantastic information. Thank you so much. Scott, in terms of your weekly culture and your calls, the calls that you have personally with your team, can you just give us a sense of what that looks like? I know you're plugging you into the macro and things like that. What is your call culture look like on a weekly basis on your team? What can I expect call wise?
Yeah, my core values are honor, growth, grit, and accountability. So a lot of that is infused into our culture. We have a lot of fun. I mean, our Slack channel's popping off throughout the day. And if it gets quiet, I just encourage my leaders that that's what matters, right? Kate sent a text out to our leadership team last week. She's like, "Hey, look, Slack is seeming a little bit dull lately. Can we all do a really good job at just like celebrating people a little bit better?" Boom, the last week has been incredible. There's 7 or 8 comments on every single post. People are posting when they sell policies. People are posting when they hire somebody. I think a lot of it goes down in there. We're pointing people into the Mac Room, so that definitely does help. Shout out to the Mac Room. This has been incredible. But we also have 35 agents showing up to an accountability call every morning. So that's our core group of people that are producing. And in the mornings, we get to hear from Jim Larson. He gives a motivational talk for us in the mornings. And then we get to go into our breakout rooms, have a sales accountability call together, go through the numbers. Systematically, that's probably the 3 things that really matter: Mac Room, accountability call, and Slack. But also on our team calls, the slides matter too. Celebrating people, shouting people out, seeing them. I think I love hopping on other people's team calls because I always get really good ideas for slides. But I mean, it seems like a really small thing, but it does really matter for us.
Gotcha. And do you have like one Schnitzer huddle, one major
Yep.
Schnitzer team call, or is that daily?
Mondays at noon. I just do once a week. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Mondays
Okay.
at noon.
All right.
We celebrate everybody. We usually have a guest on, or I give a talk, or one of our agency owners does. Yeah, once a week.
Thank you, sir.
Yep. Ashley.
So this might be kind of a interesting question, because I'm still in the process of licensing, but I would love to actually build a team. What would you suggest for someone at my stage for making that happen?
Yeah, the very first stage of your business is being profitable. So you've got to get really good at sales here. You've got to learn how to help families and become competent in that. That doesn't mean that you can't recruit early on. For me, I couldn't afford to post job ads, Ashley. So I was telling my warm market about this. I was posting on social media. I was DMing people. I had what was called a chicken list, and I kept 20 people on there who I thought would be really good for my agency. And I would send them text messages every once in a while. And every time I hired someone off that list, I'd put someone new on there. So for me, it was free recruiting so that I could focus all of my budget on leads. Now, resources, activity, schedule system, have you heard of the four keys to
Yeah.
success? Okay. Those are the things that matter when you're new, because you can't go broke before you build a business. You've got to figure out a way over your first 6 months to get this to a level of profitability. I will say this: I made $2,000 my first month. I made $2,000 my second month. I told Kate at the end of that month I could have quit. I wanted to. I told her that we were going to be homeless if I didn't figure out sales. So I wasn't even thinking about building a team at that point very strongly. I knew that my vision for the future was massive team, passive income, time freedom. But what I needed in that moment was more policies and more families helped, because we needed to be able to pay our bills. It was like month 6 or 7. I brought in $16,000 on my own pen, and I finally felt like I could breathe. So really right now, focus on those 4 keys to a successful week. Tell your warm market about this, and then you keep leveling up along the way. Maybe in 6 months from now, you'll be posting job ads, right? Maybe you can afford to do that in 2 months, but really you need to feed the profitability of the business through learning how to sell.
Something to add to
Oh,
that, Scott. Ashley, it can be really easy to be like, how am I going to recruit anybody if I haven't even figured out this business? Be honest about that. I think that's the number one thing, is being very transparent and very honest. Ashley, you tell your friend, hey, I'm still figuring this out, but I have great leaders in the training system. It has just proven my belief. I have such confidence in this. Like, be honest about where you are. I think we had a conversation with another agent last week about like, I have imposter syndrome. How do I post about this when I'm not even figuring it out myself? Be honest about it. You know, the one agent that I was speaking with on that, I asked her, what would you want to do right now? I just want to make an extra $5,000 a month. Share that on social media. Hey, I'm encouraged. I'm running after a goal to make $5,000 extra of side income in this month to bring into my home. Follow along with me. Then you follow up on that. I sold a policy. This is how much I got deposited. So don't feel like you have to pretend or come off as if you're 10 steps ahead, or as if you're an AO, as if you're, wherever. If you're not there yet, be very honest. If you scroll back in mine and Scott's social media, we shared when we were running after SNA. We shared when we were running after 90%, and then we celebrated that. So be honest about where you are, and start sharing your process right now. Hey, I'm still figuring it out, but I'm really encouraged and really excited about this company. I see what's possible. I have great mentors and leaders that are leading me along the way. I'd love if you wanted to, ride along with me. I'd love to introduce you to my leader. I'd love to blah, blah, blah. Like, share where you are currently and invite people to come along the way with you.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. I was thinking about, because I have a lot of friends that just kind of like plug in here and there on like my Instagram and all of that. I was
Use
honestly
it.
thinking about saying, hey, I found this great opportunity. Follow along with me through licensing and
Yep.
see where I head.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm excited for you, Ashley. I could go on and on, but that's the advice I'd have for you in short. I'll take one more question because the deep dive is going on right now, and I know a few of you want to transition over. So Sam, you had your hand up first, and then iPhone 16 Pro. I'm sorry about that. If you want to send me a DM, I'll connect with you. Okay.
Yeah, Kate, thank you guys so much. I've actually been inspired by your running, so I went on a run this morning for the first time in like I think 5 years. I hate running, but try doing 75 hard, so doing things I don't want to do. But my question was, I think the biggest thing that we've had to transition this past year is going from a production culture to a building culture. And it's not something that just like clicks overnight. We have about like, I think 6 builders are taking interviews every week. I want to double that in the next 30 days. How have you guys, especially in the last year, it sounds like you've kind of shifted into that building culture. What's been maybe 1 or 2 pointers on like just that transition?
I think I should have answered more directly on this when I was asked the last question about culture, because this has been the big shift over the last 120 days. Our Monday team slides are builder focused. Okay. We have a future AO slide that shows every single agent that's a writer with a writer and where they're at month to date. So being a writer with a writer means that you're growing an agency. Being just a writer means that you're a party of one and it's time to go find somebody. Okay. So that leaderboard is my absolute favorite leaderboard, Sam. There's new people in their second months that have a writer on their team already, and we're showing their team stats, and it says road to ownership at the top. Now, I cast a really large vision for this, Sam. Every single team call, I share my vision with my agency that I want to create 100 agency owners and help 100 people be financially free within the next 5 years. That's a big number, because how many agency owners does Marshall Whalen have? Right? So that's Marshall Whalen size agency within 5 years. And I share that every Monday. And then we show that slide and I say, I'm so excited for you guys. This is my vision that I can help you become financially free, become an agency owner, and like whatever freedom looks like to you, whether that's time, money, or whatever else is in your vision, it fits inside of mine, right, Sam? Right? They're here for a reason. So I celebrate that page and I'm with them. We're on this journey together. So that's the first thing. The second thing, I started a recruiting rotation with my team to help people get their foot in the door. LinkedIn ads are tough. Getting interviews on your schedule is tough. So I said, for everyone on my team who issues 10K, I will put them in my round robin. So all the work that Kate does to post the ads and get people into the interview schedule If you issued 10K last month, you're going to be a part of that, and you can open up your availability for recruiting. Okay. Every leader has different philosophies. Last week, Christina said, don't do this. This week, I'm saying do this. So you got to do whatever works for you. But I got probably another 6 or 7 builders in the mix just from offering that opportunity up to my team. And we celebrate it every week. We've got, hit your 10K this month, and we're going to have you on the recruiting rotation next month. I will say that with a caveat, that's an entry to recruiting, because eventually, once you get to that team leader, key leader level, you're going to need to own your own process so that you can build that into an agency owner run and learn the steps of how to post a job ad and take people to the next step. But I'll help them get their foot in the door if they're issuing 10K, right? That means that they're at least profitable and they can handle an extra thing in their schedule. If they're not profitable yet, get on the phones, book appointments, right? So that opportunity is there for everyone. All right, that was the last question, guys. Love y'all.